So, very warm welcome to everyone for our session today. And so, the topic that we have today is the mind of an angel. And this whole, shall we say, idea, or maybe we can say phenomena of angels, of course, is something that is very interesting, and probably at some point or another people begin to think about angels, you know. And I thought it's quite useful to see what relevance does this have for us in our lives, in the way we meditate, in our aim as meditators, as people who maybe we can consider to be on a spiritual path. And also a little bit with the aim of bringing the whole concept of angels to be something a little bit closer to home, you know, so not necessarily as beings flying somewhere up there that appear and disappear, but maybe to understand angels in another way. So also that, and those are beautiful images, but also to see the, shall we say, the groundedness of angels. You know? And so what is an angel? You know, and probably we each have our own answers for that. You know, maybe some people have thought about it, and some people have not really thought about it, and that's fine too. And the way I see it is that angels really, it is a state of being of the human spirit. So it's a condition. It's the way we as human beings are. You know? So, and we look a little bit further at the characteristics of an angel, the mind of an angel. And the way I see it is that we can move, and we do move, from angelic consciousness to sometimes human consciousness, and sometimes less than human consciousness. You know, so inhuman consciousness, inhumane. And so I see this whole aspect of angels as a state of being of the human spirit. You know? And so, of course, the more time and in more of our lives we're able to be in that state of consciousness, that you could say is an angelic state of consciousness, the closer we can call ourselves as these beings. You know? And I find that it's very easy. Sometimes, you know, you see people who have what you might attribute as the angelic characteristics, and then maybe they do something that's very human, you know, and say, "Oh, okay, so you're also human," you know. And then maybe that same person does something that just doesn't live up to your expectations of them as almost angelic, and so then you say, "Oh well, you know, you've fallen from the pedestal," you know? And so basically, we don't want to be seeing each other in that way, but we want to be checking our own consciousness, you know. And I think it is very easy to move from one state of consciousness to the other. You know? So sometimes it's called our shadow side, or our light side, our side of lightness. You know? Because angels are always shown with an aura of light around them. It's very beautiful as beings that are beings of light. So light as in the brightness, and light also as in the weight, lightweight. And also the lightness in the face and the features. So there's no sense of heaviness. And I think that's why when I first saw the sculpture that had been given to the headquarters, the building in headquarters, Rome, by the Pope a few years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, of this little angel who was completely devastated by the little migrant boy who had died on the beach. And whilst I could feel the deep sorrow of that situation, but to see that on the face of an angel was very incongruous to me. And because in my mind an angel is someone, a being, a person, the human spirit, who can empathize with sorrow and understand it deeply, and yet not be influenced by it, but maintain the stability and the courage to help rather than to cry out for help. And so anyway, that was quite an interesting moment, and I think in the group we talked about that as well when it first appeared. And so I want to read a little piece from the same book, which is it's a book called Angels. I don't know if you can see that, it will be written backwards, but it's Angels, and it's by Anthea Church. And the first part is what she describes. What are angels? What is an angel? And what I'm going to ask you, if you like to do, as you're listening, to pick out 2 or 3 characteristics that you relate to, that you like, and you feel that ring true for you, and you just write them down, take a quick note, and choose 2 or 3 of those that particularly touch you. So it's 2 or 3 pages, but just like a couple of sentences on each page. So I'll just read that now, and if you want to take note of some of the qualities or the characteristics that you relate to. Okay. So an angel is a human being who is in love with God. Not just loves, but in love. For love can be shared, but when one is in love, it is exclusive and total. An angel is a person with principles, who moves by the Spirit, not the letter of the law. He sees the motive, not the move, the heart, not the words. And so here, very often the gender of an angel is used as he, but of course, you can understand that an angel is beyond gender. So we don't have in English, we don't really have the neutral pronoun, and so we need to use one or the other. So an angel is therefore a friend, for he understands not what, but why, and his eyes offer solution, not judgment. An angel is a child, simple but deep. Simple in the things that make life complicated, like possessions and people, but deep in the things that are hidden, like the future. An angel is a child, but an ancestor. A child hides nothing, but an ancestor has secrets. An angel is a guest, for he cleans up behind him. Where there has been misunderstanding, he returns to clarify. Where there has been hatred, he offers love. He is never without gifts and always without burden. An angel is a protector. He sings such songs that danger is averted, and a fortress is built from his thinking. Come close to an angel, and you feel you are safe and can rest. An angel is a sanctuary in which you can sit. The atmosphere inside him is of long-standing peace, and the door is open, but only to those who are honest. An angel is a mirror that reflects the truth kindly, so that you can see in his face what you are. But if it showed you were poor, you'd still dance, because on the other side of poverty would be the image of what you will be. An angel is a free person, and yet he belongs to a group so closely and dearly that his every move touches another person and sets off a ripple. An angel is made of solitude. He is also all things to all people. So, was there anything that anyone would like to share from that? That just one or two, if one or two of you would like to say what one image or one quality was it that that you particularly relate to? No, is there anything from that, from the characteristics of what is an angel? What is an angel like? Anyone?
Hello, yes. There was one thing I liked. An angel is a friend because he understands not what, but why. And I thought that was quite beautiful. Mm-hmm. Because it means that there is a real connection that, you don't have to justify. Well, he will understand why you reacted in a certain way. So it feels kind of safe.
Yes, yes. And it's not superficial, but there is that depth of connection, as you say, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Laura. Hello, Radha. I'd like to understand better the difference in love God and being loved with God.
Okay. Okay. Well, so the difference between having love for God and being in love with God. Okay. Okay, we'll look at that. Anyone else in the meanwhile?
Yes, I would like to tell you all of my experience that I was really close to the death, I was losing my life. And at that time, my ex-husband said, your angel must be very hard, very strong, because he was so protected to me. I had a lot of protection from him. or her, I don't know. As you said, it doesn't have, he or her, she doesn't have a gender. And then this is something, in fact, but we as well can be angels. That I like it, because if we are in love of God, we as well can be angels, as we can, of course. We are not so spiritual, but we a bit can be. This is my point of view.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, Radha, this is Dominique.
Hello, Dominique, please.
I very much liked the image, the angel sees the heart, not the move. Because it's related to what the previous intervention said, that the angel goes to the essence of things, doesn't stop, it is not stopped by what is going on around and perception or image or movement. It goes really to the heart of things. So I like this image a lot.
Thank you. And I see from Rhoda that an angel offers protection, right? And then from Florence, where there has been a misunderstanding, he returns to clarify. And then he is a free person, and yet he belongs to a group so clearly and kindly. This is where I felt closer to the description of an angel. And also an angel is a child, so deep, yes. So the simplicity of the child and the depth as well. Great, great. And so it's interesting to consider, because I think as has come up a little bit in the conversation, that sometimes we think we have an angel, and so which just automatically implies that we're not an angel. And so whilst we might have angels, I think it's worthwhile considering this thing of being or becoming an angel. And so without getting stuck in the, maybe in the ideas, the sort of a little bit fluffy ideas, of what an angel is. And I think it's, as described, is very practical, in the sense of practical skills of living a life in this human world where there is a lot of suffering, complications, complex things, misunderstandings, superficiality, so much. And so the angelic consciousness is something that will help us to, in a sense, clear all of those things from our lives, little by little, or manage them, deal with them, so that we continue to become free. And as it came up, that we anyway belong to a group. So we belong to a group even just in the sense of the human being group. And then, of course, within that, maybe other groups. But actually, it's something that we can consider, to see, okay, what is this for me, and all the qualities that you've related to, are maybe things that are specific for you, because often we relate to things that are within us already. And so Rhoda says that I was very ill away from Rome, but somehow I was guided and helped. A taxi was organized to bring me back to Rome. I got to the Salvator Mundi in time for an emergency operation. could not have survived without help from an angel. Absolutely. And so I think it's it's very beautiful to think about being, to feel that you're protected. And I also believe that the form that angels come in is also our own past positive and pure actions. So it's like they come to us from the past in our moment of need. And so we can choose how we like to think of angels, and I think it's very beautiful whichever way you choose, whether you choose to think of angels as beings who are messengers of God, or who are these beings who protect you and they are your specific angels, or you think of them in another way, in the sense of that they are part of you, they are part of your spirit, and they are part of your karma, your pure actions that are actually what protect you. And you could not be protected unless you had performed some actions that give you that experience of being protected. And so it's interesting to think about what is your angelic consciousness. So you as the angel, you as that, in that state of being where you have those characteristics that some of you described. And so to try to bridge the gap, which may or may not exist for you, but to bridge the gap between those angels out there and me, the human being, the kind of down here kind of thing, because I think as we consider this whole idea of angel consciousness, it also takes us that step closer to feeling that we can relate to God as well. And not just relate to God and like Laura was asking, not just love God, which probably a lot of people have love for God, knowing what God is like, but being in love with God. And so when you're in love with someone, then of course they are the center of your world. They are the center of your thoughts, the motive behind your actions, the reason why you choose something or don't choose something. They're always there with you. It's like if not on a physical level, but on a, in your heart. They're in your heart. And so it's almost like you are combined with them, you are united with them. And not on a physical level, or not only on a physical level, but on the level of the being in tune with the mind of this person, of this being. And so to be in love with God it's a little bit like belonging to God, and that sense of really being, in a sense, whether you consider yourself as a child or a companion or a student of God, it's definitely the consciousness of being an angel is something that helps us to come just that little bit closer, or allow ourselves to step a bit closer, to feel that sense of self-respect. And sometimes we may think, oh, well, I'm not very angelic, and so the thing is that maybe not all the time, and maybe 99% of the time I don't feel angelic, but maybe there's that 1% where I have that, one or another of those characteristics, and others maybe that haven't been described. And I think of the characteristics of an angel as being free, as the benevolence, the benevolence which is not dependent on anything. So it's not dependent on the way someone's behaving, whether they deserve it or don't deserve it, whether they've done something that is completely that you can't respect, but still there's the possibility for you to act in a benevolent way towards them. So you have good wishes. It doesn't mean you agree with what they've done or you endorse it in any way, but you're still able to help. And so to help in the sense of helping them to come back to their center, to come back to their wisdom or their clarity, so that they can change what they are doing, realize, etc., etc. And I think an angel is also, or the consciousness is to be resourceful, so to find solutions, to be in that state of consciousness where whenever things happen, we're not stuck in the negative energy of that. So to not fall into the trap of seeing and positioning the self in the darkness, but standing in the light, because there always is light. In any situation there is, even if it's just a little patch or a line, but there will be light. And so to not just stand in that light, but to expand it, which is what was the part of the atmosphere. So an angel is someone who is able to create an atmosphere that gives that sense of safety. So whoever is in that atmosphere feels secure, and so in other words accesses their sense of security. So it doesn't become dependent on the angel, on the person who is generating the atmosphere, but they are able to access their own strength. And I think also within the angelic consciousness, the attention is not drawn towards the self, but is drawn towards the source, from where each person, each being can become strong and stand on their own feet. And so there are many, many characteristics which probably we've each seen in different people in our lives, maybe not all of them all in the same person, and some of them we'll have seen in our own selves if we dare to acknowledge them, But and so it's very interesting to think about the self in that way, because also when we think of being an angel, it's like we can bring ourselves to the sense of upliftment. So what I find interesting, and you can experiment with that if you like, is to visualize, in a sense, to visualize my aim as an angelic form, so who I am right now as a human being with an occasional angelic consciousness, which varies every day and over time, to being completely in an angelic consciousness. And so I can ask myself the question, in any moment, I can ask this angelic form, this complete angelic consciousness, what would you do in this situation? And so to have a dialogue almost with what you could call your future form. You know, if you like to think about it in that way, if you like to think about, you know, the aim as being a whole and complete being, a being of light, you know, so that my consciousness is completely illuminated. And so we're using the word angel because it has various connotations, which I think are very beautiful. And the way that it's been described is very beautiful as well. And so the thing is to try to relate to this consciousness. You know, so to be an angel is not a status or a position or something that is, you know, up above and beyond any kind of human condition. But in fact, it's a consciousness that's filled with these pure intentions, you know, so able to see my own motive rather than the move, so rather than the act. And the same for other people, where I'm able to have determined thoughts, you know, so I'm able to see the purity of the intention and back that up with creating such thoughts that it gives me the energy and the power to actually do it, to actually put that into practice, so that the intention is not left as the intention, but it gets transformed into actual practical action. You know? And so if, for example, my intention is to clarify, so I've seen that things are complicated and there's confusion, and I want to clarify, I want there to be a clean and clear communication. So what is the determined thought that I can create that will actually bring me to do that, you know, on a practical level, so that my words and my actions are strong and sweet, you know, so sweet in the sense without any bitterness, without any resentment. You know? So it's very practical. We're talking about things that are our everyday situations that we're dealing with, the relationships that we have, the way that we connect with ourselves and to each other. You know? And so this, you know, the image of the angel that is simple and deep, you know. So it's something, these are qualities that are very practical qualities. So if anyone would like to say anything, add anything, please do. And I will now look just to read a little bit more about the mind of an angel, which is basically our topic for today. And but I think it's important to define what is an angel, you know, so that we're all talking about the same thing, you know. So so I'll just read a couple of these pieces just to give us a feel for that, you know. And so even the mind of an angel, so even the most fearful of individuals can approach with an open heart, because an angel's mind will not suddenly turn. It continues regardless of who is there, stretching out suddenly to no one, liking not one more than another. But if you are sad, it can fold around your sorrow and take it clean away. The mind of an angel is innocent. It therefore entertains. For the thoughts it has see the beautiful incongruity in everything. It sees the contrast between the future and the crazy present, and yet feels nothing of the pain of unaccomplishment. It is a mind complete, living in an incomplete present. And so it is a mind filled with laughter. And so this very beautiful, not in a sense, not that easy to grasp definition or description rather of the mind of an angel who is able to see the present and yet not get stuck in it. So understanding that the present is crazy, or if it is crazy, then is completely ridiculous, and wondering what is going on, but at the same time is able to see the contrast of the future. And because the mind of an angel is able to not be stuck in the negative energy, therefore it's able to create a future that is stable and peaceful. And so therefore seeing the contrast can bring that in a sense the sense of humor, to see the self even in that state where maybe we are crazy, living in a crazy world, and yet to see what's the original state of consciousness, what is the elevated state of consciousness. So come close to the mind of an angel, and you too can laugh at your weaknesses, because behind an angel's laughter is faith in future achievement. It is not the laughter of unkindness, but of reassurance, which says, soon, soon, you will be free. And so, that's right. And so this little book talks about the heart of an angel, the life of an angel, the brain of an angel, the face of an angel, the intellect of an angel, and the personality of an angel. And so I think that we can have a meditation together now. And in case anyone would like to add something afterwards, then please feel free to do so. So now we'll have a meditation. So find a comfortable position, and make sure that you're sitting in a way that your body is comfortable and your mind is present. So that's the best way to get the most out of the meditation, so that we are in the driving seat and yet we are relaxed, so that we can guide our own mind in the direction that we want. So remembering that I am the one, I am the living being who is directing my mind. So I'm the one that's thinking, I'm the one that's feeling, and the one that's choosing. Okay, so as you find the comfortable position, I take a deep breath. And I feel my body relaxing. I feel the breath going in and out. As I consciously let go of all thoughts, of the world out there, I become fully present for myself. as an angel would, where my full attention is on my being. And as I step inside, I can have an encounter with the angel within, with that angelic part of my consciousness. So that I can invite that to be actively present in my everyday life. What are the most beautiful characteristics that I love about angels? It is exactly these characteristics that I will find in my angelic consciousness. And so as I come into my inner world, and I recognize myself as a being of light, I'm able to connect with this very beautiful and strong part of my consciousness that knows exactly what is needed, is full of resources, is deeply connected to the source. This part of my consciousness that is fully compassionate, that is so deeply rooted in the truth of who I am. Seeing my story, being free from judgment, fully accepting, guiding, encouraging, moving beyond the comfort zones, stretching the boundaries. And so I connect with this energy of pure consciousness. The intensity of the peace, the quiet, the coolness, the vibrations of love. And as I observe and connect, I become fully aware of this most beautiful part of my consciousness, the angel within. And I know that every day, in any occasion that I choose, I can invite her into my thoughts, my choices, and my interactions. Together we can find solutions. And from this consciousness that is so illuminated, like the rays of the sun spreading everywhere, in my inner world, I step into that light. And from this place, I can look out into the world of my everyday interactions. And I can look with the eyes of benevolence and wisdom and humor. And as I take a deep breath, once again, from this beautiful inner world, I gently guide my attention to the center of my forehead. And as I look out through the eyes, I can connect with my mind inside to that beautiful state of consciousness. Whilst I become aware of my physical surroundings. Thank you.